This journey is dedicated to everyone striving to be better today than they were yesterday. Growth is a continuous process, and mental strength is at its core. Whether you're facing challenges or simply seeking improvement, this dedication is for you. The pursuit of becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient is a universal goal. As we embark on this exploration of mental strength, remember that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Let's honor the commitment to self-improvement and the courage it takes to face life's difficulties head-on. This is for all who choose progress over comfort. 23. The author faced the sudden loss of her mother, a vibrant woman who loved life. The shock was profound, and grief became a daily companion. As a therapist, she knew that healing wasn't about waiting for time to pass, but about how one spends that time. She allowed herself to feel the pain, supported by friends, family, and faith. Over time, she found peace, learning to remember her mother with a smile instead of sadness. This personal journey set the stage for understanding mental strength not as an abstract concept, but as a lived experience shaped by loss and recovery. As she began to heal, another tragedy struck: the sudden death of her husband, Lincoln. The overwhelming grief was compounded by the need to make immediate decisions and face a future she hadn't planned for. Supported by loved ones, she navigated the exhausting process of mourning. Some days were easier, others harder, but she kept moving forward one step at a time. Returning to work was a necessity, not a sign that the pain had vanished. She learned that healing required both facing sorrow and actively choosing to rebuild her life, refusing to let negative emotions define her future. After Lincoln's passing, the author faced the challenge of redefining her goals. Some dreams, like adopting a child, were shared with Lincoln, and she had to decide if they still fit her new life. She continued fostering children, ventured into new hobbies like motorcycling, and began writing. Relationships shifted, but she found support among friends and Lincoln's family. Over time, she discovered love again, with Steve embracing a new chapter. Their non-traditional wedding and move for a fresh start symbolized her resilience and willingness to embrace change, even after profound loss. Life's unpredictability continued when Steve's father was diagnosed with cancer. Unlike previous sudden losses, this time she had warning, which brought its own kind of dread. She realized she couldn't let herself fall into the trap of self-pity or believe her situation was uniquely unbearable. Instead, she chose to focus on resilience and the habits that had helped her before. This experience inspired her to write the list of 13 things mentally strong people don't do, a guide born from personal struggle and professional insight aimed at helping herself and others stay on track during tough times. Habits are important, but it's often our bad habits that hold us back. The author realized that even with positive routines, negative patterns can sabotage progress. She compares it to someone who works out daily but undoes their efforts with unhealthy choices. Avoiding the 13 destructive habits she identified isn't just about coping with grief, it's about building the mental strength needed to handle all of life's challenges. By letting go of these habits, anyone can unlock their full potential and become more resilient, regardless of their starting point. Mental strength isn't a fixed trait; everyone has some, and everyone can improve. It's about regulating emotions, managing thoughts, and behaving positively despite circumstances. Genetics, personality, and life experiences all play a role, but anyone can grow stronger with effort. You can't change your past or your genes, but you can always work on your mindset and habits. The journey to mental strength is about self-improvement, learning to handle adversity, and striving to be a little better each day. Thoughts, behaviors, and emotions are deeply connected. Imagine someone anxious about social situations. They avoid conversations, which leads to more isolation and anxiety, creating a self-perpetuating cycle. To break this, mental strength requires a three-pronged approach: identifying irrational thoughts and replacing them with realistic ones, behaving positively regardless of circumstances, and controlling emotions so they don't control you. It's not just about thinking positively, but about balancing optimism with realism and action. Make our best decisions when we balance emotions with rational thinking. The author shares her irrational fear of snakes. Logic helps her overcome panic. Similarly, when we act out of anger or pure logic alone, we risk making poor choices. The goal is to let our hearts and heads work together. Many people doubt their ability to control thoughts and feelings, but with practice and increased mental strength, it's possible to make better decisions and manage reaction. There are many misconceptions about mental strength. It's not about acting tough or suppressing emotions. Instead, it's about acting according to your values and understanding your feelings. You don't have to be self-reliant or chase happiness constantly. Mental strength is about realistic thinking, not just positive thinking, and it's not a fleeting trend. Importantly, mental strength is different from mental health. You can be mentally strong even if you face mental health challenges. It's about building healthy habits and striving for growth. Mental strength prepares you for life's inevitable challenges. When you're mentally strong, you're more resilient to stress, better equipped to handle problems, and less likely to be overwhelmed. It leads to greater life satisfaction, increased confidence, and improved performance in all areas, whether as a parent, professional, or athlete. Building mental strength isn't just for crisis moments. It enhances everyday life, helping you focus on what truly matters and reach your full potential. Reading about mental strength is just the beginning. Real growth comes from practice. Like athletes and musicians, you must actively work on your habits. The 13 chapters ahead aren't a checklist, but a guide to recognizing and avoiding common pitfalls. Everyone struggles with these habits at times. The goal is to find better ways to cope, grow, and become a little better each day. Progress is about consistent effort and self-awareness. Self-pity is described as a destructive habit that separates us from reality and progress. The story of Jack, a child recovering from a serious accident, illustrates how focusing on what's lost can hinder healing. His therapist encouraged him to see himself as a survivor, not a victim. By shifting perspective and behavior, Jack and his family moved from self-pity to gratitude, setting the stage for true recovery. This lesson applies to everyone. Feeling sorry for ourselves only holds us back. Self-pity can manifest in many ways: believing your problems are worse than others, withdrawing from activities, or focusing on what's unfair. These thoughts and behaviors can consume you, changing how you see yourself and the world. But even when you can't change your circumstances, you can change your attitude. Taking control starts with recognizing these patterns and choosing to respond differently. Self-pity often serves as a defense mechanism, helping us avoid facing fears or taking responsibility. It can also be a way to gain attention or avoid responsibility. Sometimes it becomes a competition who has it worse, but ultimately self-pity delays action and keeps us stuck. Recognizing these motivations is the first step to breaking free from the self-pity trap and moving toward a healthier mindset. Feeling sorry for yourself is self-destructive. It wastes time, fuels negative emotions, and can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-pity prevents you from dealing with other emotions, causes you to overlook the good in your life, and interferes with relationships. Instead of helping, it keeps you focused on what's missing or unfair, making it harder to move forward and find solutions. Overcome self-pity, change both your behavior and your thoughts. For Jack, this meant returning to activities he enjoyed and being seen as a survivor. His parents shifted their mindset from loss to gratitude. By focusing on what's possible and positive, you can break the cycle of self-pity and start building mental strength. It's about taking small steps even when it's hard and refusing to let negative emotions dictate your action. Sometimes the best way to fight self-pity is to do something active and positive. The author's family celebrated Lincoln's birthday with adventurous activities instead of mourning. Volunteering, performing acts of kindness, or learning something new can help shift your focus from what's wrong to what's possible. These actions don't ignore grief, they honor life and create new, positive memories. How you interpret events shapes your experience. Two people can face the same situation but react very differently. One sees misfortune, the other sees luck. Reframing your thoughts is powerful. Ask yourself how else you could view the situation, what advice you give a friend, and what evidence you have that you can handle it. This practice helps shift your mindset from self-pity to resilience. Negative thoughts like, "I can't handle one more problem," or "bad things always happen to me," fuel self-pity. Catch these thoughts before they spiral. Replace them with more realistic statements such as, "Some bad things happen, but good things do too." The goal isn't to force positivity, but to find a balanced, realistic view that supports growth and healing. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to self-pity. The story of Marla Runyon, a legally blind Olympic athlete, shows how focusing on strengths and gifts rather than limitations leads to extraordinary achievements. Gratitude shifts your mindset from "I deserve better" to "I have more than I deserve." Developing gratitude is a habit anyone can build regardless of circumstances. Simple habits can help you become more grateful. Keep a gratitude journal, say what you're thankful for each day, and shift your focus when self-pity arises. Ask others about their gratitude and teach children to appreciate what they have. These practices reinforce a positive outlook and help you notice the good in your life even during tough times. Jeremiah Denton, a prisoner of war for 7 years, exemplified strength by focusing on gratitude and service rather than self-pity. Even in the worst circumstances, he chose to be grateful for the opportunity to serve. Research shows that gratitude improves both psychological and physical health, leading to better immunity, more positive emotions, and stronger relationships. Gratitude is a foundation for resilience. Watch for red flags that self-pity is taking hold: exaggerating problems, focusing only on difficulties, or withdrawing from helpful activities. The key is to give yourself a reality check, replace negative thoughts, and take active steps to improve your situation. Practicing gratitude and staying engaged in life are essential for breaking the cycle of self-pity and building mental strength. Helpful strategies include giving yourself a reality check, replacing negative thoughts, actively problem-solving, and practicing gratitude. What doesn't help is exaggerating your difficulties, remaining passive, or focusing only on what you lack. Choosing helpful actions and attitudes is a daily practice that strengthens your resilience and helps you move forward. Giving away your power means letting others control how you think, feel, and behave. Lauren's story shows how resentment toward her mother-in-law
I
consumed
really
her
value
time
our
and energy, affecting her
conversations.
marriage and
Me
happiness.
too,
By
dear.
setting boundaries and
Let's keep
reclaiming
this
her power,
going.
Lauren regained control over her life. Mental strength involves being confident in your choices, regardless of others' actions or opinions. You might be giving away your power if you're deeply affected by criticism, let others dictate your goals, or spend energy complaining about people and circumstances. When your self-worth depends on others' opinions or you avoid setting boundaries, you become a passenger in your own life. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to reclaiming your power and building mental strength. Often we give away power because we want to be liked, avoid conflict, or believe it's disrespectful to set limits. But failing to establish boundaries, emotional or physical, lets others take more than we intend. Each time you avoid saying no or don't stand up for yourself, you give away a bit of your power. Healthy boundaries are essential for mental strength and well-being. When you give away your power, you depend on others to regulate your feelings, let them define your self-worth, and avoid addressing real problems. This leads to helplessness, sensitivity to criticism, lost goals, and ruined relationships. Taking back your power means accepting responsibility for your choices and focusing on what you can control. Claiming power starts with self-awareness and confidence. Lauren learned to be firm but respectful, setting clear rules for her home. Though confrontation was scary, she and her husband stood together, and over time their boundaries were respected. Building a strong sense of self-worth allows you to tolerate backlash and stay true to your values, even when it's uncomfortable. Take a close look at who receives your time and energy. Are they the people you want to influence your life? Each moment spent complaining about someone gives them more power. Officer Stephen McDonald's story shows the strength of forgiveness. He chose not to let a violent act define his life, focusing instead on peace and purpose. Forgiveness doesn't excuse behavior, but it frees you to focus on what matters. Words you use reflect whether you're giving away power. Saying, "My boss makes me so mad," or "I have to do this," implies a lack of choice. Instead, recognize that you choose your reactions and actions. Just because someone offers criticism or behaves negatively doesn't mean you have to accept their view or let it affect your self-esteem. Language shapes mindset and power. Reacting emotionally to others' words or actions gives them power over you. Rachel's story with her daughter shows how arguing only reinforced negative patterns. Instead, pause, take deep breaths, and remove yourself if needed. Distract yourself until you can respond rationally. These strategies help you stay in control and prevent others from dictating your emotions or behavior. Not all criticism is valid. Madonna's rejection letter didn't stop her from becoming a superstar. Successful people don't let one person's opinion define them. When you receive feedback, ask yourself if it's true, consider the source, and decide if you want to change. You can respectfully disagree and move on, keeping your power and confidence intact. Remind yourself that almost everything in life is a choice. Saying, "I have to go to work," ignores the reality that you choose to work for its benefits. Recognizing your choices, even when consequences are involved, is empowering. It shifts your mindset from victimhood to agency, helping you create the life you want to live. Taking back your power is essential for mental strength. Oprah Winfrey's story is a testament to this. Despite a difficult childhood, she became one of the most powerful people in the world by refusing to let others define her. Building mental strength means setting boundaries, making conscious choices, and focusing on your own growth and values. You've explored the importance of avoiding self-pity and not giving away your power. These habits are foundational for building mental strength. By recognizing negative patterns, setting boundaries, and practicing gratitude, you lay the groundwork for resilience and growth. Remember, mental strength is a journey, not a destination. Every step counts. Continue building mental strength, focus on daily habits, practice gratitude, set clear boundaries, and challenge negative thoughts. Engage in activities that bring meaning and joy, and surround yourself with supportive people. Each small action contributes to a stronger, more resilient mindset. Progress may be gradual, but consistency leads to lasting change. Change is inevitable, and mental strength helps you navigate it with confidence. Whether facing loss, new opportunities, or unexpected challenges, your mindset determines your experience. Embrace change as a chance to grow, learn, and discover new strengths within yourself. Flexibility and openness are key to thriving in an unpredictable world. Mental strength involves understanding and managing your emotions, not suppressing them. Develop awareness of how feelings influence your thoughts and actions. Practice balancing emotion with logic and give yourself permission to feel without letting emotions dictate your behavior. This balance leads to wiser decisions and greater inner peace. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. It's built through practice, facing difficulties, learning from them, and refusing to give up. Each challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. By focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't, you develop the resilience needed to thrive. Support from friends, family, and community is vital for mental strength. Don't be afraid to ask for help or lean on others during tough times. Admitting you need support is a sign of strength, not weakness. Building a network of positive relationships enhances your resilience and helps you navigate life's challenges more effectively. Mental strength isn't about relentless positivity, it's about realistic thinking. Acknowledge challenges but also recognize your strengths and resources. Avoid extremes of thinking and strive for a balanced perspective. This approach helps you make better decisions, cope with adversity, and maintain hope without denying reality. Every step toward greater mental strength is worth celebrating. Acknowledge your efforts no matter how small. Progress is rarely linear, but persistence pays off. Celebrate your growth, learn from setbacks, and keep striving to be better than you were yesterday. Your journey inspires others and builds a foundation for lifelong resilience. Mental strength is a lifelong pursuit. It requires ongoing effort, self-reflection, and a willingness to grow. By avoiding destructive habits, practicing gratitude, setting boundaries, and embracing change, you build a resilient mindset ready for any challenge. Remember, you have the power to shape your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. Stay committed to becoming stronger every day, and you'll unlock your full potential.